Hey guys, Chelsea here, and this is Dustin with me, and we're going to go through a 60-minute all-level flow. We're going to begin on our stomachs. So when you're ready, just coming down onto your belly. Find a position that works well for you. You could always stack your forearms, rest your third eye upon your wrists or forearms. You could take your arms out to cactus and place one ear down. I'll give you about a cue about halfway through to change out the opposite ear. As you come onto your belly, just soften the belly, soften the glutes, and allow the legs and heels just to splay actively out to the side. Allow the head to be heavy, feeling that space into the back side of your body. Take a deep inhale into your nose, fill your belly, chest, and lungs. And then audible exhale like you're fogging up your mat, release and empty. Inhale as we fill, pressing your belly into the earth. And exhale as we release to find softness. Take one more deep inhale. And exhale to let it go. You can continue this deep rhythmic breath, or maybe you want to begin to fire up your Ujjayi breath, sending breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Generating a little bit more heat within the body, focus in the mind. If you have one ear down, go ahead and lift up your head, placing the opposite ear down to get that same stretch into the opposite side of your neck. Taking a few moments here just to find additional softness, releasing any tension you may be holding on to in the shoulders, hips, legs, and low back. Feel that breath move all the way through the diaphragm and into the belly as you find expansion. And exhale for that softness. Now, if your arms are to a cactus or out to the side, go ahead and stack your forearms on top of one another and drop your third eye towards your wrists or forearms and just find a little bit of movement right to left. Beginning to stretch the sides of your neck, massaging your third eye, breaking up any congestion. Take about 2, maybe 3 more rounds of breath here. And then coming back to center once your sides are even, we're going to move into a Sphinx pose. Coming onto your elbows here. Wrists in line with elbows, elbows stuck underneath the shoulders, and spread your fingertips really wide. Now as we inhale, we're going to take your heart and chest forward between the gate of the biceps, and your gaze goes high here. Exhale, you're going to press your chin to your chest, navel to your spine as you round. Pressing your pubic bone down into the mat, you keep your hips rooted. Inhale, drop your belly, pull the heart and chest forward. We're going to take little cat and cows from here. Exhale, round. So as you start to find these spinal undulations, you're still drawing your elbows in towards the midline, tracking elbows back towards your rib cage. As you find a little bit of movement into your spine, protraction and retraction of the shoulders, and a little bit of movement of the neck. Let's take 2 more. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale, we're going to round and hold. Press the tops of the feet, the thighs, and pubic bone into the ground. Pressing through your forearms, draw your navel further to your spine and lower your chin further towards your heart. Take it back to neutral spine, and we're going to lower all the way onto your belly. Your arms go out to the side, right ear comes down. Bending left elbow, bending left knee for a chest stretch. We begin to roll to the right side of the body. Placing that left hand in front of the heart, keeping your head on the ground. Right wrist stays in line with that right shoulder, head is heavy. And you just start to lean towards the right side of the room, opening up through the chest and the heart and clavicle. Maybe you send your gaze up to the sky, taking a deep breath into your belly. Send your gaze back down to your mat. Slowly come onto your stomach so we can switch sides. Left arm reaches, lining up the wrist in line with the shoulder. Left ear comes down. Bending right elbow, right knee. We roll to the left side of the body, keeping the head down. Take that right foot behind the left and begin to open up the chest. Deep breaths into the heart. Maybe gaze goes up. Send your gaze back down, lowering back down to your belly, hands underneath your shoulders, child's pose. Take your hips back towards your heels. Big toes touch, knees travel wide, and belly falls between the gate of your thighs. As you reach your fingertips to the top of the mat, lower your head, heart, and chest down. Take an inhale. Exhale, crawl your hands over to that right long edge of the mat. Left palm can be placed on top of the right. Head goes back down between your biceps. Roll down through that left shoulder and back through that left hip crease, creating length into the left side body. Inhale, you start to walk your hands back to center as we crawl them over to the left. On your exhale, that right palm can come on top of the left. You roll the right shoulder down, pressing back through the right hip, and then feel that space now to the right side of your body. Deep breaths. Inhale, walking hands back to center. We're going to look forward, coming up to all fours. Separate your feet, stack your joints here as you come into tabletop pose. We're going to send that right heel back, half spinal balance. Rotate the right pinky toes down, squaring off your pelvis. Leaning into that left hand, we're going to open up into a modified side plank. If you want to drop that right foot down, you can, or you can challenge yourself by keeping it hovered as you stack hips and stack shoulders. Actively flexing that right toe and reaching up through your left fingertips. See if you can lift a little bit of weight out of that bottom left hand. Send an inhale to that right heel. Exhale, right hand lowers, right knee lowers. You land back in that tabletop pose. Exhale, we send that left heel back, half spinal balance, square it off. Weight goes into that right hand. We blossom open into that modified side plank. You can drop that left foot down if you need to. You can lift that left heel up a little higher if you'd like. Reaching tall through the left fingertips, stacking hips and stacking shoulders. Gaze down to your mat. We land that left hand and left knee down. You're back in tabletop. Tuck all 10 toes underneath, downward facing dog, sending hips high, heels draw back. Take a moment here to pedal out your feet. Rise into the tippy toes, sink your heels down. Just start to find some space into the back sides of the legs. Concavity into the upper back as you draw your heart and chest back towards your thighs. Pressing actively through your thumb and your forefinger, create a little pocket of air underneath your hands. Begin to find some stillness here. Rise high to your tips of your toes. Drop your heels to that back right corner of the mat and bend your knees, pressing your chest towards that right thigh. Begin to find a little twisted turbo dog. Feel that stretch into the left side of your body. Inhale, you come back to center. We're going to pivot your heels over to the back left corner of your mat. Bend your knees and press your heart and chest towards that left thigh. Pressing into that right palm, feel that stretch into the right side of the body. We're going to come back into your downward facing dog. Ensure that your feet are at least hip distance apart as we send that right heel high, three-legged downward facing dog. Exhale, right knee to your nose, shoulders travel over your wrist, thigh to belly. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, right leg high. Third and final time we hold. Draw that right knee into the chest, stacking shoulders over your wrists, navel towards your spine. Quietly step right foot in between your hands, lower left knee down, Salamba Anjane. Untuck your left toes as you sweep your arms high. Begin to bend that left elbow. Place that left palm between your shoulders. Right hand grabs left elbow. Let's find a little back bend, pressing your head into that left forearm, opening up your chest here. Working to draw that left elbow in towards the midline, lower that left hip down. Inhale, coming back to center, reach your arms high. Runner's twist, send your hands down, plant the left palm, lift up left knee and open up the chest the right side of the room. Find your runner's twist by pressing the back of that right hand to the left side of the room. Inhale, exhale, Prasarita. Walk both hands over to the left long edge of your mat. Taking your toes in, your heels out, actively forward fold in the space between your legs. See if you can shift more weight into the balls of the feet and less into the heels as you let your head go. Inhale, hands underneath your shoulders, lift halfway. Crawling to the back of your mat, we're going to land in Salamba Anjane. You're going to frame the left foot, squaring off your hips, drop right knee down, untuck your toes, sweep your arms out. Find a nice big reach of the fingertips, opening up the chest. And then hands go down, frame the left foot. Tuck back right toes underneath and straighten out that left leg, drawing your hips towards the back of your mat. Now you can find a little bit of movement here, forward and backward, just to warm up that left hamstring. If you need less, pop that right foot in. If you need more, widen your stance. Take about maybe 2, 3 more here. Find a bend in that left knee. Gaze to the back of your mat, stepping right foot to meet the left. You're coming into a chair pose, heavy in your heels, sweeping your arms high here. Lift up all 10 toes. Maybe sink your hips 1 inch deeper and pull the heart and chest forward a little bit further. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to reach your hands back here, flying them to the front of the room. You're going to rise the tips of your toes, and we're going to come down onto your hips. So nice and slow, start to lower your hips down, coming through Navasana boat pose. You lift your feet up, you send your arms forward, and then draw the shoulder blades back. Take an inhale. Exhale, we're going to lower down. Grab behind your legs, navel to your spine. We come onto your back. Both feet go up towards the sky. We're going to wrap right leg up and over the left. So you want to find your eagle legs here. Maybe that's 1 wrap or 2. And then plant that left foot down. Right foot is still wrapped behind that left calf. Take your hands behind your head. So left foot is firmly rooted, and your hands are cradling the back of your head. Inhale, peel up head, neck, and shoulders. We're going to start to take little crunches here. Lower the head down just to a hover. Exhale, send the chin back up. Keep pressing actively into that left foot. Keep drawing the chest up, pressing navel towards your spine. We begin to lift and lower as we experience that stretch into your outer hip, that IT band, maybe even all the way up into your low back. Try to keep your tailbone and your pelvis heavy. Keep drawing your elbows back so you cannot see them in your peripheral vision. Let's go for 3 more. 2. Hold at the top. Release your hands. Let's take them to steeple grip, interlacing all but your pointer finger, and send it to the top back right corner of the room. Now pull that right thigh into that left tricep. Squeeze here. Reach your fingertips forward, peel your shoulders off the way from the mat a little bit further, and then we open up. We reach the hands back, we tap your left toes to the ground, and then we curl and we crunch. Inhale, we open. Exhale, left tricep, right thigh. Good. Start to take this ringing, this reaching, and this wrapping here as we start to find your obliques. If this is too much, you can forego the lift and lower of the legs and just use only upper body. If you need more support of your head, just place your hands behind your head, reaching that left elbow towards that right thigh. We're going to go for a few more. Really crunch, lifting the shoulder blades up, squeezing right thigh to left tricep. 2. Hold on this last one. Really reach your fingertips there. And then we're going to unravel the legs, but keep them in their same shape, sending that right foot to the left side of the room. Left heel is back. Let's take pulses. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower left heel, bend right knee, supine twist. Release your head and extend that right hand out to the right side of the room. Left hand can come to right thigh. Plug that right shoulder down, deep breath. Gaze goes back up, right knee comes back into your chest. Give it a quick little squeeze before sending it forward to meet that left foot. Arms go up and overhead as you reach. We're going to zombie lift all the way up to the top. So you start to roll up 1 vertebrae at a time. Coming up, take a little forward fold at the top, drawing your nose towards your shins. And then start to come up and find that boat pose once again. Lifting up your feet, sending fingertips forward. Cross right ankle over the left, roll over the shins, downward facing dog. Head is to the back of your mat. You're back in that down dog. Feel free to pedal out your feet if you need to. Drop your head. Inhale, we're going to send that left leg high. Exhale, left knee to your nose. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Third and final time, pull the knee in towards the chest, shoulders over the wrists. Step left foot between your hands. Dropping right knee down, sweeping your arms up. Untuck your back right toes. Bend that right elbow, sitting that right hand between your shoulder blades. Left hand grabs for that right elbow. Find a little baby back bend. Pressing your head into that right forearm. Lifting up through the chest, feel the stretch in that right hip flexor. Inhale, come back. Center hands, plant framing left foot, runner's twist. Right hand down, lifting right knee. Left arm floats high as you open up the chest. Pressing the back of that left hand open. Prasarita, both hands land crawling to that right long edge of your mat. Toes in, heels out, forward fold. Maybe walk your hands this time in line with your feet, lowering the head down, further weight into the balls of the feet. Walking hands underneath your shoulders, lifting halfway. Crawling it back to the front of the room, framing that right foot, dropping left knee down, Salamba Anjane, sweeping arms high, opening up the chest. Send an inhale to your fingertips, hands come down. Frame the right foot, tuck back left toes underneath. Lift that left knee and start to move it forward and backward here. Again, you can pop that left foot up if you need a modification. You can flex your right toes back to the crown of the head, keeping your hips nice and square. Just start to find some space into the back of that right hamstring. 2. Keep a bend in that right knee. You're looking forward to step that left foot forward to meet the right. Chair pose, bend into your knees. Keep your arms high, lift your toes, heavy in those heels. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears and let's swing the arms back here. Squeezing triceps toward one another, pop the balls of your feet and lift your heels high. We're coming back down nice and slow. If you need your hands, lower them down. Lower the hips, Navasana pose. Hips land, feet float forward, fingertips reach, shoulders down and back. Wrapping your hands behind your thighs, chin to your chest, we roll onto your back. With your feet towards the sky, we're going to find that wrap. Left leg goes up and over this time. Wrapping once, maybe twice. Now we're going to plant the sole of that right foot down to the ground. Once you're planted, you feel that stretch on the left side. Send your hands behind your head. Drawing elbows back. Inhale, lift the chin high. We take those little crunches here. Think about drawing navel in towards the spine, your chin up towards the sky rather than in towards your chest. See if you can activate the wrap of the thighs, stabilizing your hips so that you can lift and lower a little higher, engaging your transverse abdominals. Let's take a few more here. Each exhale sends the chin high, inhale, lower. Let's go for 2. Holding here at the top of the spinal 1. You release your hands and find that steeple grip once again. Now we're reaching the fingertips towards the top left corner of the room, outside of that left leg. Now we begin to lift the feet, drawing that left thigh towards right triceps. Squeeze. Really wrap here, and then inhale, we open up, we tap the toes, we send the hands back. Exhale, squeeze, wrap, and rotate. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze. Remember, if this is too much, you can forego the lift and lower of the legs and work only to send your hands up and down, working to find your upper abdominals. Think about reaching your fingertips further to the front left corner of the room, challenging yourself to squeeze a little bit more as you connect that left thigh to your right tricep. Let's go for 3. Last 2. On this final 1, we hold. Reach your fingertips to the top left corner. Now you unravel your legs, but you keep and maintain that shape. Right heel goes forward, left foot goes the right side of the room. We pulse. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower right heel. We find that supine twist. Send left knee over to the right as you plug that left shoulder down. Wrap and rotate and breathe into your low back. Gaze goes up, legs come back to center. And then you're gonna take that left foot forward to meet the right. Reach your arms up overhead and let zombie lift back up. So taking your hands forward, you lift up and then you find that forward fold over the legs, release and forward fold. Walk your hands back towards your hips, Navasana. Float your feet, chest towards your thighs. Inhale. Exhale, cross that left leg over the right, rolling over your shins. We come back into that downward facing dog. As we arrive in this downward facing dog, feel free to pedal out your feet. Let your head go. Inhale, we rise to the toes. Looking forward, gently walk, step or float your feet to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we root to rise, sweeping arms up towards the sky. Exhale, seal hands in heart center. Inhale, reaching arms up. Exhale, hinges you forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant, feet go back into that high plank pose for a hold. If you need to modify, lower to your knees. Shoulders, hips, and heels in line, spreading fingertips wide. If you'd like a little bit more, you can rock forward and backward here without moving your hips. Inhale, everyone's going to shift it forward. Lower knees, chest and chin. Sliding all the way down onto your belly here. Baby Cobra Bhujangasana. Press into your hips. Begin to peel heart and chest away from the mat. Now, if you want to challenge, float your arms into cactus arms, squeezing elbows towards your kidneys, pressing your feet actively into the earth. Inhale to the backs of your hands. Exhale, fold and release. Child's pose, hips to heels. Look to the top of your mat. You come back through all fours and into that downward facing dog. So we are going to take 2 more sun salutation A's. You can take that modification of knee, chest, chin, or you can go right back into downward facing dog. As you inhale, rise to your toes. Look forward and walk, step. Float your feet to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reaching your arms up. Exhale, hinges you forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, feet back. Optional vinyasa. Or go right back into that downward facing dog. 3 rounds of breath here, sending inhales to your tailbone, exhales down through your heels. Inhale, rise to your toes, look forward and walk. Step, float your feet to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, seal hands in heart center. Inhale, reaching arms up. Exhale, hinge forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, feet back. Optional vinyasa as you travel back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, rise to your toes. Looking forward, walk, step, float your feet to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Chair pose, bend into your knees, heavy in your heels, sweeping arms up. See if you can find a little bit more depth here as you reach your toes towards your shin and pull the heart and chest forward. So then inhale to your fingertips and exhale, we forward fold as we release. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant, feet go back. Vinyasa or back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, send that right heel back, 3-legged downward facing dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Step it in between your hands, warrior A, Virabhadrasana 1. Rotate left heel down 45 degrees and sweep your arms up here. Pulling that left hip forward, keeping shoulders and hips square to the deep bend in that right knee, lifting up through your fingertips. Pressing into the outer back edge of that left foot. Inhale. Exhale, standing split. Take your hands down, frame that right foot. We float that left leg high. Folding here, you can take your hands to blocks to elevate the earth to bring it to you. Now here comes a challenge. We're gonna rise up nice and slow, coming into your eagle legs. When that left leg wraps over, the left arm wraps underneath the right. We start to come up. Try not to take your left toes down. Pulling that left knee into the chest, we begin to wrap left leg over right, left arm under right. As you find your eagle position here, square it back off to the front of the room. Bend maybe a little bit deeper. You can always use that left foot as a kickstand. Lift your elbows in line with your shoulders. Sink a little bit deeper. Good, we're gonna unravel. Send that left foot down, chair pose. Heavy in those heels, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, feet back. You've got that optional vinyasa back to that downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, left knee to your nose. Warrior A. Left foot steps down, right heel roots as you inhale, sweep up. Squaring it off. Actively navigate that right hip forward. Bend deeply into that left knee. Open up through your chest. Send the breath to your fingertips. Exhale, we take it down, standing split without momentum, straightening out that left leg, reaching right toes high. Forward fold. Here's that challenge. Go really slow. Try not to take your right toes down if you can. We're gonna come up, pulling that right knee into the chest so we can wrap right leg over left and right arm goes under left. Finding your eagle position. Remember, you can use those right toes as a little kickstand. Bending into your knees, drawing your navel in towards your spine. Lift elbows up, shoulders down away from your ears. We unravel and find a chair pose with control. Step right foot next to left. Sweep your arms high, opening up the chest. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, feet back. Optional vinyasa. Back to that downward facing dog. Inhale, we're going to send that right heel high. Exhale, step the right foot between your hands, warrior A. Pivot back, left heel down, inhale, rise. We've been here before, pulling left hip forward. This time, send your hands behind you and hook your thumbs. As you hook your thumbs, your palms are facing to the back of the room. Roll your shoulders down, squeezing shoulder blades together, finding a stretch into the front of the chest, bigger bend into that right knee. Now, as you inhale, reach your fingertips towards that back left heel, opening up your chest. We're only gonna go halfway, hinge 45 degrees. Reaching your fingertips to the back of the room, hover belly over that right leg. Is that left hip starting to open? Pull back through, squaring it off. We inhale, we open up the chest. Slide your hands down the back left leg. This time we're coming all the way down, humbly bound warrior. Right shoulder inside of that right knee, drawing head down, reaching your fingertips up towards the sky or maybe even into the front of the room. Drop your head, send your gaze to your navel. Keep hooking your thumbs, keep reaching through the chest, keep pressing into the outer edge of that left foot to square off your hips. We inhale, use your belly to rise. Sweep your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, we're gonna open up warrior B. As we blossom open, maybe you need to find a wider stance here. Continue to stack that right knee on top of the right ankle and lower shoulders away from your ears. Flip right palm, exhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle, right elbow, right thigh. Left arm can go up, it can go forward. You can slide that right hand inside of that right foot if you'd like. Keep reaching up through that left hand. Good, so if your arm is reaching forward, let's send your left fingertips back up towards the sky. We're gonna move right into your triangle pose. You're gonna take that right hand to that right shin, straightening out that right leg, just avoiding the knee here. Again, stacking hips and stacking shoulders. Maybe you wanna challenge yourself by sending your gaze to your left middle fingers. You can keep a hold of that right ankle or shin. If you've got it, you can take your right hand down to your right pinky toes, and we're gonna come into a little hovered monkey here. So you're gonna bend into that left knee, rotate to the left long edge of your mat. Now you really wanna open and spiral your chest to the back of the room to find a twist, pressing the back of that left hand towards the front of the room. Feel that inner thigh, maybe bending that left knee a little bit deeper. 3, 2, we unravel and rotate back to the front of the room. Step that left foot in pyramid pose. So now you're back to squared hips off to the front of the room. Shorten your stance if you need to. So then inhale the crown of the head and exhale fold. Keeping your hips nice and level, releasing your nose towards that right shin. Inhale, lift halfway. We're going to rotate this. Send that left hand to that right ankle or outside the right foot as we revolve your pyramid pose. Right arm is going to go high. Remember, you can bring something underneath that left hand or use that right leg. You're wrapping and rotating here. Maybe gaze goes up to the right middle fingers. We're going to try not to use a lot of momentum here to come into your revolved half moon. Gaze forward to the top of your mat. Little bend in that right knee, sending left hand torso length out in front and underneath you, and then lift that back left heel. Keeping your hips squared, keep the rotation of that thoracic spine. Gaze goes up to your right middle finger if you want to challenge your balance. Feeling that right IT band, breathe. Inhale. Exhale, right hand plants. Let's step that left foot behind the right, crossing at your ankles, finding a forward fold here. If you want more, walk your hands to the right long edge of your mat, feeling that left IT band, side of your body. Release your head. If you travel to the right, come back to center. Now we're going to work crow. If you've got crow easily, keep your legs crossed, working to take a cross-legged crow. If you want to unravel your legs, taking a standard crow, you can. If you're coming with me with wrapped legs, your hands plant, and you rise the balls of the feet. You keep your ankles hooked as you send your knees to triceps. Lean forward, look, hook your ankles and your feet, and start to float your feet away from the mat here. Navel towards your spine. If you've got crane, you can move into that. Beautiful. Take as much time here as you like. We are going to take it back into your vinyasa. You can take the vinyasa or go right back into your downward facing dog. Deep breaths. Inhale that left heel high. Exhale, left knee to your nose. Warrior A, step left foot down. Drop right heel as you inhale, rise up. Square it off. Lower shoulders down away from your ears. We take the hands behind you and hook your thumbs once again. Really reach your fingertips to the back right heel to open up the chest. Inhale, sliding your hands down, opening up the heart. Exhale, we only hinge halfway. Hinging from your hips. Notice that that right hip is lifting. Rotate it down, sending crown of the head forward, hovering belly over that left thigh. We use the core to come back up, open up the chest. All the way down this time, humbly bound or devotional warrior. Left shoulder inside of that left leg. Crown of the head falls inside of that left ankle, and gaze goes towards your navel. Maybe you start to reach the backs of your hands to the front of the room. Keep actively pressing into the outer edge of that right foot. Breathe. Use your belly, rise back up, inhale. Unhook, reaching hands high. Exhale, open up warrior B. Widen your stance if you need to. Left knee over left ankle. Flipping left palm, exhale, we reverse. Exhale, side angle. Left elbow, left thigh, right arm can reach up, it can reach forward. You can send that left foot inside the left ankle. Feel the stretch. And now send your right fingertips high, stacking your shoulders and your hips. You're going to take that left hand down to the left ankle or to the ground. We're going to come into that triangle pose. You just straighten out that left leg. Feel free to bump that right foot in if you need a modification. Keeping your shoulders and your hips stacked here, reaching up through the right fingertips. Imagine there's a wall behind you. You're going to take that left hand, keep it a hold of the ankle, or maybe you can wrap it to the left peace fingers, big toes. We're going to open up to the right side and open up here, bending that right knee, finding that flying monkey. Left leg stays straight. You're twisting and rotating to the back of the room as you press the back of that right palm to the front. Feeling that left inner thigh for 3, 2. Right hand goes back forward. We step that right foot in pyramid pose. As we square off our hips here, exhale, fold over that left leg. Feeling the hamstring, release the head. Inhale, halfway lift. We begin to revolve. Right hand inside, outside that left foot or maybe that left ankle, left arm goes high. So we open, we rotate. Try to keep your low back level, keeping your hips even. If you want to challenge, send your gaze up to the left middle finger. Now we're coming into your revolved half moon. Gaze the top of your mat, little micro bend in that left knee. Send that right hand underneath the right shoulder, torso length. And then float that back right heel up, keeping everything twisted, everything squared. Maybe gaze goes up. Rotate right pinky toe down. Extend through that back right heel. Exhale, left hand plants. We step right foot behind the left. Crossing at your ankles, you forward fold. If you want more, let's walk our hands to the left long edge of your mat, folding belly outside of that left thigh. Walking your hands back to center. You can take a standard crow, skip it if you'd like, stay here in this forward fold. We're gonna go through this cross-legged crow once again with that left leg over the right this time. Your hands plant, fingertips wide. Bend into your knees, hook your feet, hook your ankles, knees to triceps, navel to spine, lean forward, and maybe you start to hover and lift your feet. Notice the difference as you activate your ankles and outer feet together. 3, 2, we take it back when you're ready, however you're ready. Back to that downward facing dog through vinyasa. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, knee to nose. Step the right foot between your hands, crescent lunge. We rise up on your inhale. Keeping everything squared, take that back left heel over the ball of the foot. Hands come to heart center, thumbs at chest, opening up. Exhale, hinge halfway. We start to rotate, hooking left elbow outside of that right thigh for a twisted crescent lunge. If you need a modification, lower back left knee, lift belly away from the thighs. Now here comes a little bit of a challenge here. You're gonna gaze the top of your mat. Weight goes into that right foot, you're light into your back left toes, and you keep a bend in that right knee as you float the left toes away from the mat, keeping your twist. 3, 2, squeeze left knee behind the right. You got a little twisted kundalini here. Squeezing inner thighs, you got it. Now if you want to challenge, coming into your revolved dancers, that right hand is going to grab for that left foot, and then we start to come up, straighten out that right leg. You find your revolved dancers pose. You can take your hands down, staying in that kundalini, or just take a forward fold. We are all going to find our way into a standing split. So slowly taking your hands down from wherever you're at. Left toes are high and you fold. We can stay here. You can find a balancing standing split, or maybe you take handstand hops at the top of your mat if that's in your practice. Giving you a little time to play for 3, 2, stepping left foot down, forward fold. Shake it out. Let it go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, seal hands in heart center. Inhale, reaching your arms up. Exhale, hinge and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, feet back. Optional vinyasa. Back to that downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, knee to nose. Crescent lunge, step that left foot between your hands, come to the ball of the back right foot as you sweep your arms high. Really reach that back heel over the ball of the foot. You're almost weightless in the back right toes. Take your hands to heart center, thumbs to sternum. Inhale, open up the chest. Exhale, hinge halfway. Inhale. Exhale, we wrap and rotate, hooking right elbow outside of left thigh, stacking your palms, stacking your elbows, bringing thumbs to chest center. Now here comes the challenge, the balance. Gaze in front of your left toes. Keep the bend in the left knee. Leaning forward, we begin to hover your right toes an inch, 2 or 3 away from the mat. Hold for 3, 2, Kundalini, squeeze right knee behind the left. You can stay here, hands can come down. Maybe that left hand grabs for the right foot and you blossom open into your revolved dancer's pose. Couple options. Remember, you can move into a forward fold. We are going to move into your standing split from wherever you're at. Slowly begin to take your hands down to the earth. Reaching right heel high. Forward folding over the left thigh. Handstand hoppers, maybe balancing standing split. Release your head. Inhale. Exhale, step the right foot down to meet the left. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we root to rise. Exhale, seal hands in, heart center. Inhale, reaching your arms up. Exhale, hinge as you forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, feet back, optional vinyasa. From your down dog, we're going to come down onto your hips. So if you like to float forward, you can bend into your knees. But as you're ready, we're coming down onto the ground and sending your feet forward. As we take our feet forward, take the flesh off and away from your sits bones. And then bend into that right knee here. Taking a figure 4, right ankle crosses on top of that left thigh, sitting up nice and tall. Exhale, we start to hinge. Take the chest towards the right shin, crown of the head towards your left flexed toes. Maybe you want to cradle that leg here. Maybe you want to take it up into more of a seated pigeon. You could find a little bit of movement here, side to side. Good. Feel the stretch into the inner thigh. Maybe taking that right foot to the left shoulder. Taking 3 more deep rounds of breath. If that right ankle is hovered away from the left, slowly take it down. If you're folded still, begin to take your shoulders over your hips. We're going to plant that right foot outside of the left thigh. Coming into a seated twist, right hand to your low back. Left arm reaches up, left tricep, right thigh, gaze over the right shoulder. Begin to rotate and breathe. Inhale, to the crown of the head. Exhale, twist. So I'm going to work you through a baby grasshopper here. You're going to take your gaze forward. And you can just kind of counter stretch if you do not want to take another arm balance. Your hands go to the left long edge of your mat. And you just roll onto this left hip. Now feel free to stay here. Or drop this left forearm down. Left elbow underneath your shoulder, just like we began at the beginning of practice. Right hand comes in front of this right shin and grabs for the outer edge of that left foot. If you cannot reach, you can wrap a towel here instead. And we're going to start by just lifting that left heel up a couple times. So you just lift and lower. Good, now press your heel into the mat and start to lift your hips a couple times away from the mat. Now let's see if we can put those two together. Lifting your heel, you really lean into that right foot and that left elbow, and maybe you can lift the entire left leg away from the ground. This is your baby grasshopper. It's a really safe arm balance. If you fall, you're only falling a couple inches back onto your hips. Your IT bands are nice and open. Some of you may want to take this up, coming up into a standing, maybe super soldier, and then back down if you're looking for more of a challenge. 3, 2, drop your hip. Let's send right foot forward, shake it out. That was a lot on the inner thighs. Inhale, reach your arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Paschimottanasana between sides, rolling shoulders down away from your ears. Spine is long, chest remains lifted, belly to your thighs. Begin now to walk your hands back towards your hips, sitting up nice and tall. Pull that left knee in. Left ankle crosses on top of the right. We find our figure 4. You can stay here and just begin to fold your chest towards your shin. If you like that more hovered version, you could take that left foot into that right elbow crease, cradling the left foot and coming up into a seated pigeon. You could find movement. You could lift that left foot towards your right shoulder a couple times. Sitting up nice and tall. Breathing. Think about safely guiding that left foot to the right shoulder. 3, 2. Go ahead and take that left ankle back on top of the right thigh. You're still hinging forward, sit up nice and tall. Send that left foot outside of the right thigh. Left hand low back, right arm reaches up. Right tricep, left thigh. Gaze over the left shoulder as we begin to rotate. Deep breaths. Gaze goes forward. You could stay in this counter stretch. I'm going to turn around. Dustin's going to stay where he's at. And then you're going to take your hands outside of that right hip, really rolling onto the outer edge of the right hip. This time it's the right elbow that comes down. Elbow underneath the shoulder, forearm presses firmly into the mat. Left hand is going to grab in front of your left shin and reach for the outer edge of the right foot. Now, you may not grab it, so you may need to use a towel. So you want to make sure you're twisted over to the right. Shoulder and elbow are stacked. Now we start to lift that right heel a couple times. Maybe you press into that right heel and lift your hips a couple times. Maybe you can combine the two and lift, coming off and away from the mat. Pressing into that right forearm. Nice, Dustin, that's awesome. Holding, if you want to come into that modified super soldier, you press into that left foot. Coming up. Spending as much time as you like before coming back down. Just a couple options. 3, 2, and when we drop our hips, we send both feet back forward as we unravel. And then inhale, sweeping your arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Let it go, let it release. Gently start to come up, pulling your navel into your spine here. We're going to roll all the way down onto your backs. Nice and slow. Stretch your arms overhead, reach. Banana Asana, walk your hands to the top right corner of your mat. As you walk your feet to the bottom right corner, you could cross left ankle over right. Press back through that left shoulder and hip. And just feel a nice big stretch through the left side of your body. 3. Walk hands and feet back to center. Exhale, we curl our hands to the top left corner, feet go to the bottom left corner. Maybe right ankle crosses on top of left. You roll back through that right shoulder and hip. Inhale back to center, extend. Exhale, pull your knees to your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze here. First time really on your back. Stretching, pressing your low lumbar spine into your mat. Elbow lift slightly, eyes to belly. When you're ready, lower your feet down to the mat. Heels in line with your sits bones, hands outside of your hips. Bridge pose, pressing into all 4 corners of both feet. Begin to lift your pelvis up towards the sky, refraining from letting your knees splay out to the side. Squeeze your glutes, lifting your hips. If you want, you can wrap your hands at your low back and shimmy one shoulder, then the other underneath. 3, 2, release. nice and gently begin to come down. Heel toe your feet to the wide edges of your mat. Knees separate wide, arms go out to a T. Drop both knees now over to the right side of the room, lifting up right ankle, place it on top of left thigh, using it for manipulation and traction to pull your knees further to the right side of the room, and then send your gaze over to that left hand. If this is too intense, you can just keep both feet on the ground. Right ankle comes off of the left thigh. You take both knees back to center, gaze up to the sky before dropping knees over to the left. This time left ankle crosses on top of the right. Gaze goes over that right shoulder, so that left leg creates a little bit more traction for the right side. Twist. Gaze goes up, slide left ankle off and away from right thigh, coming back to center. Both feet go up towards the sky for a waterfall pose. If you'd like a supported waterfall, take a block underneath your hips. If you prefer a shoulder stand or candlestick supporting your hands at your low back, find an inversion of your choice. If you prefer to come forward, take a headstand, you could do that as well, or hike your feet up against a wall. Lots of different ways to close out your practice with an inversion. Take whatever it is that you need here. If you've got a block under your back, you can take tiny little circles on the ceiling. If you're in shoulder stand or candlestick, you can start to explore variations with your legs, or maybe you like to take plow pose or ear pressure pose as a counter stretch. Slowly making your way down. Hug knees to the chest, happy baby. Grab to the inner outer edges of your feet. Take knees towards your underarms, ankles stack on top of knees, and you can just rock side to side. You can kind of ninja kick your legs out to right to left. Feeling a little bit more into the inner thighs, maybe both legs into that nice big V. Whatever movement feels organic to your body in this moment. And I invite you to explore any other positions here that I have not offered you. If you want to take another twist, if you need to take another inversion, or maybe it's another back bend, something a little bit deeper. Maybe you want to spend a moment in your Supta Baddha Konasana, taking the knife edges of your feet down to the ground, butterflying your knees out to the side, allowing for that curvature of your low back to occur. Taking your time, again, to move into your final resting pose of Shavasana as you become ready. You can extend feet forward, you could lie upon your side or even your belly, much like we began practice. Arms rest out to the side, eyes begin to close. Body is soft. Mind is still. Your breath remains deep. gently start to move around the fingertips and toes, wrists and ankles. Inhale as you reach and extend. Exhale, draw your knees to your chest. Taking a moment of gratitude for your healthy bodies, for rolling to your favorite side, your side of choice, coming into a fetal position. You could close out your practice here or meet me in a comfortable seated pose facing the front of the room with your eyes closed. Sitting up nice and tall, allow your hands to rest upon your thighs. Shoulders soft down away from your ears. Chest and heart lifted. Again, to bend your elbows, sealing your hands to heart center, allow your thumbs to fall to sternum space. And with a deep inhale, we send our thumbs to third eye center, taking a moment to honor this place of wisdom, this place of intuition. Inhale. As we bow together, we say, Namaste.